kick them away. Now here's the thing about this.
Yes.
If you don't click both those blue things,
Yes.
it'll still tick.
But it won't be recorded.
Got something on here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm calling to general order, general quarters, general privacy Dumont. I'm just trying to get up here and get some things on here. So we're going to be enjoying anything of poetry tonight. We're going to be catching fire. We will be burning like coals on the beach, being whipped by wildly icy winds, pulsing with white hot heat. Thank you. So we're going to get started. We have a couple of things that will be read first. Then we'll get started with the open mic. I'm Dan Brady, your host, and this person behind me is going to take you.
Richard May.
Richard May.
Take it away.
Take it away.
Welcome to Sacred Ground with Dan Brady as the current host of this, the longest running open mic in the known and unknown universe. Serving up good food and fine poetry since 1972. Let's have a big hand for Teddy and Fiona, our hosts.
Yeah, baby.
And please support reading by enjoying the food and drinks served here. Please respect the mic, keep conversation to a whisper, put devices on mute, vibrate or airline mode, please. Tonight's feature is
Elizabeth Dolford, right over there.
Give her a round. She came in the house and didn't want anything to see her name.
who will give the Queen's Wave.
The Queen's Wave, that's what we know.
The keynote will be,
Owen Dunkel.
while the mini feature is,
Clyde Always.
Who's not here, but he will be.
and the last word will be by,
Oh, we don't have one for that.
Aaron,
That'll be whoever turns out to be last.
good enough. Please note the link. Streaming is handy in many ways. If you can't be here, you can view in.
Good, Ben.
If you want someone see you live, they'll be able to. Want to hear so-and-so's poem again? Well, you can. Want to do a self-critique? No problemo. More importantly, it is a way to put out the word. I refer to the ongoing theme, never doubt that a small group of committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. Tonight's theme is, and that was by Madam Margaret Mead.
Thank you. The night's theme, well, Karen Huff was going to give us a theme, but she did not give us a theme. For a particular theme for the evening. So
We can do whatever we want.
you are free to speak as you might.
Oh my, freedom. Fabulous door prizes are,
Oh, let me go through that. Here they are, ladies and gentlemen. Poems, drawings, and essays about San Bruno Mountain. So this is local. Ravines of the Heart. I camped out on that thing twice. Once was very illegal, but there was no adventures. Homer's Mediterranean, in case you want to go to the Mediterranean, visit the places that Homer went to or knew about or got drunk in.
Homer Simpson, right?
That's right. Crazy as we are. Rumi, in case you want Rumi. The Liars Club. We got one already in Washington, but that's a different group. Rumi. Again, Rumi, we are three. It's supposed to be we am three, but it was a typo. Then Men in the Off Hours. I don't know anything about this, by Ann Carson, so I have nothing. None of those float your boat.
What's the native?
Oh, this is the news from Native. From Native. It's a Native American magazine about their issues. I believe it is in the West for local. No, it's not. Sorry. And if you don't like any of those, you can be the co-pilot, which you have right here. Have the last word, which nobody bothered to take. Be the mini feature, which is, who is the mini feature again? Clyde Always. We'll see him in the second half.
Clyde sometime.
Keynote, which we will hear. Owen is the keynote. And then choosing this week's theme, which we could have had, but we didn't have because I forgot to ask Karen before she left.
last, if you wish to record someone, please ask permission. I will assume that you've done so should I notice recordings being made. And I'm going to just ad-lib because I know, but it's not on here, that if you do something that is not your original work, please be sure to give the author credit.
Excellent.
Yes, and this is where how you do that. You ask for this, I give it to you, you write it down, so that way it only say Charge of the Light Brigade by Charles Fawtry LeBaron.
Marvin, you're up.
All right. Oh, this is the second announcement of the evening. I am so sorry to keep it myself
Print
talking
out
here.
He's got it? Okay, thank you.
Ready to roll.
Roll 'em.
Okay,
Roll 'em.
I've been handed Proposition 1. Whereas warfare is the worst of all crimes in that it embodies, encourages, and rewards all others. Whereas the definition of war as used by the Nuremberg trials is meet for the purposes of this proposition. Therefore we, the party of the first part, all citizens of any nation, all those who suffer from the effects and privations of war, who oppose it as a system, as a behavior, as a socially accepted institution, call for an end to war, cessation of all hostilities, and standing down of all military forces and universal disarmament. Further, let it be known, we the people, the party of the first part, state, by our assertion of this time and place, that we stand opposed to the existence or use of military force as we now know it. All those in favor of Proposition 1, please signify.
Yeah.
All right.
Bravo.
Hey.
All those opposed.
Wait, abstentions?
Abstentious.
All right. Okay.
Thank you.
Contentions.
Give him a round, he was brave. When the powers that be get around to looking at things like this, they'll go after people like that. They'll ignore me, they'll try to buy me off with millions of dollars. So if I get rich, then you should be suspicious.
You
Right.
will be.
All right.
All right. Keynote.
Keynote, Mr. Owen
Owen
Dunkel.
Dunkel.
Thank you. As a keynote address, I've chosen the late poet Leonard Irving, and I'll read his title poem from his chapbook.
That never shows up.
Farewell, Dundrennan. The cottage was a haven for phantoms. Dragon movements coiled inside the casters of the bed, and the quilt was a restless fox. On nights when the wind blew, the windows inside out, the floral wallpaper became a breeding ground for arthritic spiders, playing leapfrog with bunnies, whose faces resembled Grecian urns. And outside, trolls' piss fell heavier than rain. Bewildered sheep in black fleeces bleated as I counted the stars I saw through the bedroom ceiling. And farther away than downstairs, Father listened to an ancient wireless set that with cracks of lightning sounded lonelier than any somber sea. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Owen Dunkel.
Marvin. Number 1.
Number 1.
You're up first.
Looking very good. This is Marvin. Teamstroke.
Okay, this is a brand new poem.
Good.
A not so subtle, surrealistic view of those pushy poetic forms that will take over unless something drastic is done. Titled Stop and Go Traffic. Brazen big rig, interlocking terrace-a-rima, flipped on side, all southbound lanes blocked. Dumped Dante's best. Beware if the eye of the metaphor winks at you. Double-length Montana epic featuring a dynasty of coyotes collided head-on with a totally soused Las Vegas Sestina. No survivors. A gazelle with a grudge rear-ended the super annoying Pantoum, who has no intention of ever ending. Pantoum will never forgive the gazelle for that untimely, if temporary, termination. Concrete poem stalled in the left lane. 49 months with square sandals are levitating. 7 3/4 feet above terra firma, even though there's a very stiff breeze. Monks refuse to come down until John's cows are milked. Time to pop in your audiobook howl. Aboard, Villanelle is shooting out one stanza of each passing poem. Perfect shots, perfect editing. I recommend you all reduce speed and channel Lake. Thank you.
Bob Gordon, you're up. And followed by Buford. All right, you're next after Bob.
Hello. I have mentioned that I now have an Iranian roommate, and he's been here for about 2 years. And what he's, of course, trying to do is adapt in San Francisco, the only city he's ever been in the States, to the American culture. And I am his American roommate from the East Coast. And these are in the meantime, he has been wanting to meditate a lot more, so he has learned that he can meditate while I rant. That's what these 3 poems are about. How his spirit, I am afraid, hangs over me, God, who is my spirit. How he penetrates my heart as spirit. How he knows me to say, earth is a star as I have spoken it in the universe domain. O time, how fearful to me is love. O God, my God, as I have said, earth is we creatures of starlight. This describes him meditating and me going through my American number. Seated still, grin, arms draped, hands, palms up, he knows I wail and groan. This way now and then when life is defeating me and he is steady there. His stillness okays my crazy, unable to take it nest. This wild fox yelps, oh, help, help, and that smile grin that deepens within my hellicism like a soothing, penetrating lotion, assuring my brain, my mind he knows and is there to calm me of my nerves relentless building up to a frenzy only his quiet love relieves. Ah, my love, thank you. This is called After So Much Rain, and it is as we calm down. Can rain still rise to sky heaven, storm heaven with its anger beats like hail? Can you may come to enter, smile one moment, a dream, and then say hello in that language of yours? Can we say peace, sleep?
Buford. You're next.
Yeah. All right. How you doing?
I'm pretty good, actually. This was called Hip. This was written the 4th of March, 2015. You braid my broken hip together, put in pins, a Frankenstein-like decoration. I'm getting as old as Frankenstein. I guess, tumbling into the mob's fire, my youth gone, a semi-sage at a bit past middle age. You ask matter-of-factly, you haven't been back. My trying to stay to work get back to work in 3 weeks off sidewalk streets, I confirm. You give me my note to go back to teenagers and their developmental problems. I walk across the examining room and am good enough at it for you, too. My students I assume, want me back. I need their hearts. as big as my hip is tender. I wrote a lot about it, because believe me, that's the toughest thing that's happened to me so far. I don't want to think about anything else.
You think about heavenly joy,
Yeah.
Just saying.
How Christian of you. I'm interested. That's interesting.
Okay.
The poet parade. We sit up at the law office, the master of ceremony poet in front. Could you two guys catch the door, he asked, a certain expectation apparent. This isn't you, Dan. I refuse. Tell my poet friend later he should not be the older poet man's errand boy. As I tried to recover from my hip injury, the policeman chides me for not calling the cafe where he and I hang out, and my recovery is progressing. I'm really tired and traumatic from my injury and don't seem to be able to do the traditionally polite thing, if I ever do. Okay.
I like that, Buford.
And now we have Richard May.
Richard May, get him around. We haven't seen him in since the last time. And that's a safe assessment.
So I got two things, and the first is a one-act play that I wrote, and it's kind of funny because the gentleman referenced to Frankenstein fell right in line, because this is called The Invisible Man Had a Family. The house lights are very dim. There is very little light. The curtain is as close to the front edge of the stage as possible, and the audience should likewise be as close to the stage as possible. The lights come up. The curtain pulls back to reveal a second curtain that is only inches from the front curtain. A spotlight is thrown on the left side of the curtain. A door is heard to open and close from the left side of the stage. 7 footsteps are heard. They are heavy footsteps, boots, and seem to be moving from the left to the center of the stage. The spotlight moves from the left to the center of the stage. A spotlight is thrown on the right side of the curtain. A door is heard to open and close from the right side of the stage. 7 footsteps are heard. They are light footsteps, high heels, and seem to be moving from the right to the center of the stage. The spotlight moves from the right to the center of the stage. The 2 spotlights converge but do not overlap. They form a Venn diagram and then separate. The spots are very close but do not touch. From the left side of the stage, a man can be heard to clear his throat. Susan, it is so good to not see you again. You don't look well. From the right side of the stage, woman's voice. Thank you, George. It's nice not to see you as well. Have you been working out? Yes, I have lost a few pounds. How is our son? Has he gotten over the divorce yet? I don't think so. He is becoming more visible by the day. Pity that. Well, I must be going. When will I see you again? Soon. Very soon. Goodbye. 7 light footsteps are heard from center to stage right. The spotlight moves from the center to the right side of the stage. A door is heard to open and close on the right side of the stage. When the door closes, the spotlight goes out. 7 heavy footsteps are heard from center to stage left. The spotlight moves from the center to the left side of the stage. A door is heard to open and close, and just as it closes, their man's voice says, on the left side of the stage. When the door closes, the spotlight goes out. Curtain.
Oliver.
He's not done yet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
I thought, you saw him go up, and I didn't.
Yeah.
So,
My bad.
Just-
My bad.
this is short.
I got it. I got it.
Okay.
This was from a play called Love and Money, and it was first put on the London stage in 2006. It was written by Dennis Kelly, and the originator was the great actor John Kirk. Okay. When I came home, I saw my wife lying there on the bed, and she'd taken I'd been test driving this Audi. It was silver. It had ABS brakes, satellite navigation, climate control, roll bar, all standard. It had these little push-out trays for your drinks and things. It was a lovely car. It really held the road. But the thing was, the guy that was doing the test drive, you could tell what he was thinking. You fucking wasted my time. But I can afford the car, but that car, it felt so good. It felt like I'd earned that car. All the things I'd done, all the things I'd been through. I felt like that car was my right. But we had debts. Big debts. My wife had debts. You see, he could see that I couldn't afford the car. Do you understand? He could see it on me. It was visible on me. So when I came home and saw my wife laying there, I thought, I can afford the car now.
Wow. Thank you. This is May.
Oliver.
Oh, that's Owen Dunkel.
Oh, it's Owen Dunkel.
I'm going Dunkel. I'll be back to the open mic. He was the
Owen Dunkel
keynote, but the keynote always comes back.
Followed by Tommy next after Owen.
Who's that? Oh, Tommy. Okay.
After Owen.
Yeah. Thank
And
you.
then Hal, you're after Tommy.
And then Bob Newhart. You know, he said he would show, but you know that guy.
And then Danny Thomas.
Danny,
He's
a real, he's a real asshole.
Okay, thank you. I'll try and speak up.
All right, there you go, D.
These are all my most recent poems. This is called Bob Shoe. I don't know if you've heard this before. Bob Shoe, a memoir, after Steve Carolyn. Bob Shoe, spelled S-C-H-U-H instead of S-H-O-E, and I went hiking along the trail in the Angeles National Forest. We met Emily and Marie in the middle of the evening, and the whole San Gabriel Valley glittered below us. We were merely in high school. He went to Muir and I went to Loyola, and we sang this. When we sang this song, reminiscent of a Bill Malden cartoon. We are two soldiers marching from whorehouse to whorehouse. Bob later got married to Donna McCluskey at age 19. The marriage lasted a while, and later Bob joined the Peace Corps, and he unfortunately contracted cancer. He is an old friend, and is still alive, thank God. His friend, the Ishmael-like Owen Dunkel, has written a short prose piece to him. Stone demigods. The sorcerer wanders over the skies. The snake hovers along the river. The hunter lets fly from a quiver of arrows. A darkening moon narrows. A flight of sparrows penetrating the blue. I am mad at a metaphor as the day becomes one slow blanket of fog. Trieste. Trieste, the passion is dull and gentle. The notes of the Spanish guitar are exquisite and far away. No as quiet as North Beach, passion, the gentle strum and hum become my version of a vision, and the clusters of clouds. Warm. Sort of evening at the Trieste, listening to the plunking and the plunking and screeching of the violin and the hum and strum of the guitars, the sound of the accordion, the sound of the electric night. The violin reminds me of a plaintive squeak. To a policeman poet, Mark, the postman always rings twice in the same night. 2 lines to open up the world. I wondered where Punder was. Oh, there he is, right between the pages. At the beach, the warm white waves do a peaceful rococo dance on top of the green ocean seawater. In the Trieste, never above it all, I do a lonely dance, certain to make romance. I'll read from my chapbook, Tights and Outcry. Rhapsody. Talking on a hot windy night, the calm sun starts to cry. The windy fears we all stroll by. The leaves take to the air of fright. The air has a sudden sadness. My herds become men. Beats funny sigh. The cloak of evening, I well ask why does the afternoon pass the night? We are children of the good. The leaves see us fit as though are unchanging. There in the one mood, we can say we are too static as cosmic eternal sunshine. Some things we say tonight are thine. Oak Grove Park. The shady napping leaves of noon at my feet like a plush green Appian way. The dark light green grass and the sway of the vast expanse of the moon, JPL and Devil's Gate Dam. Soon the tides of night, come what may, make all the memories to say. Every spring in May, the sun of June, the grass turned brown, the matter it used to make, the thunder of the sky, the jets' dishes clatter. The day would not be half asunder. Our sliding doors shake lightly. We know the answers. We say so slightly.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Tommy, give Tommy a round of applause. You'll want to do that in a minute anyway. Oh, there we go.
Okay, so for this first poem, I just want to translate one word, and that is no. In Italian is grandpa.
Thank you. That would have been misleading.
Every summer, Nono took off in the middle of the night, making his way quietly from his bedroom on the first floor of that old house on 10th Street that he bought with his boot-black savings, through the still sweltering heat of a South Philly August night, past the young guys in T-shirts on the corner, the only creature still stirring, to the bus station a few blocks away. The next morning, Papa grabbed one of my older brothers, hopped into the beat-up green Pontiac that he rebuilt. Old Betsy, he called it, and drove the 60 miles to Atlantic City Police Station, where cops explained that they found Nono asleep on a bench on the boardwalk overlooking the ocean. When I heard Papa pull up outside, I opened the door to see Nono slowly climbing the white marble steps Mama always kept scrubbed, hand clutching the worn black iron rail, muttering to himself in his southern Italian dialect. Frail old man who wouldn't die until he saw her again, the dead wife he took to Atlantic City so many years before. The guys on the corner went on shooting the breeze. The kids in the street played ball and dodged cars like frenzied dancers. The women in their house dresses and flip-flops came out of their houses to stare. They knew, as Mama did, that the men with their heads as hard as the hills of the land we came from let death keep knocking until they were damn ready to go. True story. Nobody could ever figure how my grandfather could get from our house to Atlantic City. He didn't speak a word of English. Who knows? Anyway, I want to end with, as statues are coming down all over the once Confederate South, in my old hometown of Philly, there's controversy about taking down a certain statue, and it's not a Confederate statue. There I was, in the same room with the big bambino, the Cisco Kid, none other than Frank Rizzo, the man who swore he'd make Attila the Hun look like a faggot, who said the way to treat criminals was spacco capo, split their heads. The larger-than-life Philly cop who was mayor for 2 terms and then tried to get reelected again and again. I was taking photos for the local gay paper. The publisher was interviewing him. This was shortly before he died. The man who strip-searched Black Panthers outside their headquarters and gave the order for the cops to beat up black students protesting outside the school district building, who sent tanks up Broad Street to stop a peaceful march the day after 4 students were murdered by Ohio National Guardsmen at Kent State, who had his boys in blue raid gay bars and stop a march by drag queens on Halloween night. This same man was sitting there rewriting history, spinning it in a way more suited to the times that were changing, since he wore a billy club in his cummerbund tux, or made law and order his mantra. The leopard wasn't going to change his spots, merely con everyone into thinking they were stripes. He didn't con me. We come from the same working class neighborhood. He was Italian like me, but he wasn't my paisano. I want to honor Italians like Vito Marcantonio, the Harlem Congress member who advocated for black civil rights and anti-lynching legislation in the 40s. I want to remember Sacco and Vanzetti and the 11 Italians lynched in Louisiana in 1891. I want to never forget that Italians were considered inferior and of another race when we came through Ellis Island. I want to remove the 10-foot bronze statue of Rizzo from downtown public space because he died the same man he always was, and that's nothing to celebrate.
Well done. Here, here. The Honorable Hal Robbins now takes the mic. I hope he'll get it back to us. His bon vivant and raconteur.
You want that a little high? There you go.
There you go.
Coronach by Sir Walter Scott. He is gone on the mountain. He is lost to the forest. Like a summer dried fountain when our need was the thirst. The font reappearing from the raindrops shall borrow, but to us comes no cheering, to Duncan no morrow. The hand of the reaper takes the ears that are hoary, But the voice of the weeper wails manhood in glory. The autumn winds rushing take the leaves that are searest, but our flower was in flushing when blighting was nearest. Swift foot on the quarry, sage counsel encumber, red hand in the foray. How strong is thy slumber, like the dew on the mountain, like the foam on the river, like the bubble in the fountain. Thou art gone, and forever. And here's one of Clark Ashton Smith's typically weird, strange, and lovely poems. The Last Oblivion. Not while the woods are redolent of spring, and scentless immortelles of autumn blow shall I evade your loveliness, or know surcease of love, and love's remembering. But haply, wandering worlds and cycles hence, through unforeseen fantastic avatars, I will forget you in the future stars, and take of time an alien recompense, till in some strange and latter planet wrought of molten shards and meteor dust of this, my hand shall pluck an unsuspected bloom that lifts again the scarlet of your kiss, and I will muse and linger, knowing not the love that perished like a lost perfume. Thank you.
Kitty Costello. Yep. Kitty Costello.
Oh, Kitty, welcome.
Thank you.
Another round. Kitty, I didn't.
Line up if you like. Here and anywhere with a blank.
Any blank
Higher the
spaces
better
or-
for you.
There you go. Sorry about all that.
Thank you.
Oh, what? Did
Good,
something
you
bad
did-
happen? I missed it.
My heart attack. That's 10 years too soon.
Let's see, where to start here?
At the beginning.
So this is called Reading Cold Mountain. People know that Han Shan, translation Cold Mountain, was a 7th century legendary recluse and sage in China. And he named himself after Cold Mountain that was his refuge, and was known for leaving his poems scrawled on rocks. Reading Cold Mountain. Drums grumble non-stop in the capital city. Deaf men march. Where shall I lend my small but mighty might? To what deity or boneyard shall I make my deepest bow? Hungering for empty belly, empty of hunger. A single bell rings. Shall I keep still, retreat to the mountains, grab my pen, ink overflowing, or let life's canvas go on scrolling its vast emptiness? The cries of the world lament louder than ever. Sorrow and tenderness burst beyond any known self. Odysseys and homecomings may both lead heavenward or astray. Was there ever an elsewhere to escape to? If so, what a tiny portal it must be by now. If the sage was planning to return, now would be a good time. Yes, now. This is called Your Poem. This is a poem you are writing for yourself, maybe allowing lids to cast downward and inward gaze, feeling the beingness of this given body. Inhabit belly, avow the heart, allow upwelling throat. Invite all that is yearning to be sung or chanted, sworn to or ranted, a simple sound universal, a holy tantrum or primal blessing, longing by this very next breath to be made. Listen for it, you'll know it by heart. Perhaps in sudden memory, you clutch tight the rails of a twirling carousel, cradled in the whole whirl and spin and ache and whee of the round, round world, or bumping hard now into edges of thick-throated unspeakables, stuck so long in there, you made a you of it. Tell this, no matter its dark, inky threat. Allow the sound. Let loose in real time, unforeseen arias, ancestral rumblings, age-old sighs, or, with trusty pen, with mighty howl, stab through the heart of whatever vampire needs staking. Then back from ancient history, celebrate this shaft of light bathing the floor, this hungry cat meow, this urgent rustle of palm leaves, this silent, unending sweep of the clock hand. Where is this headed? You choose particulars, your free will finally riding the wave that used to flood you. That wasn't the end. Reach the shore, land soggy and astonished like your first earthly entrance. Here may you sing your sojourn's fullest anthem, the song that always leads home.
That's great.
Do I have time for one more?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is called Grandmother Haiku, and you just have to hang with the pace because each of these is its own separate thing, and it just kind of needs to go a little slower than usual lines. Older than memory, a crumbling covered wagon down the farmhouse lane. Small girl left behind grips prairie grass with both hands as cyclone rages. Down the homestead trail, a vision of Christ appears. Grandmother is blessed. 18 years old, taught grades 1 through 8 in a one-room schoolhouse. Before her lessons, first washed lice from school kids' hair with kerosene. Headstrong suffragette. Is there a chance for me? Asked grandfather-to-be. A farm of their own in Parker, South Dakota, where mother was born. Stigmata wounds bled the marks of Christ of sainthood on Aunt Elaine's palms. Farm foreclosed, Dakota roots forsaken, California bound. Side by side, 3 graves. Grandmother's grandparents lie beneath windswept plains. Chiding granddad's diet, John, she'd tell him, you're digging your grave with your teeth. Daily mass a must, down on her knees praying for our immortal souls. Recites her poetry praising Holy Eucharist, makes me late for school. In old black and white, grandparents with shrewd smiles signed, just Mother and Dad. My husband and I, first night of our honeymoon, slept in her hometown. Ceaseless winds whistle past lonely graveyard headstones. The town disappeared. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, that was me. Okay, I was wondering where the hell I was. Pardon my French. Or Italian, but not really. Thank you, Mr. Howell.
So I was at Story Music Festival about over Labor Day, and I wrote a couple of songs. I'll give you the second one. It's called Just Toss Me Out. bluegrass influenced. Well, now that I've passed 70, I'm not asking for your loving hand. I wouldn't turn it down if you spun me around. I'm not a clean or a dirty old man. I'm sure I could entertain you if you sat down on my knee. But if your spirit's on fire, well, I'm just another liar, and you'll have to set your own soul free. I can dance up a storm, I can roll the verbal thunder, drive a truck across this whole country. Appreciate a sweet granny with a cute little fanny who's just looking for some company. I'm a Big Ben spender, I'm a New York cowboy, I'm a California hullabaloo. Half deaf, half blind, I'm a one of a kind, a sharp-eyed hawk who takes the long view. I might listen to your pissing, your explaining and complaining, perhaps suggest you turn the other cheek. But if you choose not to follow because my words sound kind of hollow, just toss me out at the end of the week. I got the California foothill blues, an old stump with nothing to lose. Still enjoying the sound with my roots in the ground. I do what I damn well choose.
Yeah, baby! Is there a bit of autobiography in that?
This is a couple days ago.
That would be Monday.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
I get them mixed up.
Okay. You have to cross that bridge when it's fertile. You have to leap that ark when you've uncovered the covenant and no longer covet it. Every dog will have his cat. Every cat will pause, pad, and wait till the mouse clicks. You don't need a thermometer to tell which way the wind's blowing. Absurd and ass bird meet in a flatulent display that feathers cannot convey. Vowels are like owls. Consonants are constantly shifting from tree to hollow, and like their coffee bleak at the tip of their beak. You actually predate predators when you devour leaves. Butterfly eggs are the width of fingernail cuttings, perfect donuts oviposited in large numbers like a matrix. Matrix, dominatrix, whatever whips you into a frenzy, a froth, a cream, a brulee, an upside-down cork. You were expecting a phantasm, I left you with an infant. When I was learning to spell, my mother would say, sound it out. I found it out. English. The same sound might have 5 different spellings. A diphthong might be worn as a belt or a sex toy. A single syllable might make 3 different sounds depending on how you grunt it. Advertising, the fine art of lying, the sin of insinuation. Make it into a series for Siri. Like you, her intelligence is artificial. Next I will deteriorate while you cry your eye out. Then reinsert it in no time with a laser beam stuck on hold. And cut! If I wait long enough, I become too heavy. And finally, yesterday. Storm is over, lightning done, clouds at many levels hurry, puffing white and on a run. Crows have flushed the hawk today. I sent the spider on her way. 10 days away from equinox, John Coltrane and Goldilocks. Collect your thoughts and give a twist. The blues are nestled in your wrist. Harmonico, harp of wings, explain what change of season brings. Hurricanes came up the alley, flooding all the coastal valleys, flattening Caribbean isles, Cuba, Puerto Rico, cry. Petroleum keeps making climate worse, inviting the severity of Mother Nature's curse. Thank you.
And now, Dano.
Oh, Dano.
It's
Oh my God.
Hawaii 5-0, Dano.
He told me it was going to be me.
Dano.
Thank you.
Well, how are you out there? I wish I could tell you how I am. I'll get back to me on that. See, this piece here is so new, I've been scribbling on it. While I'm here, I hate it when I do that. But I wanted to read it, so I'm going to read it because the changes are, never mind. And then I'm going to read this one, so there you go. I did that on purpose. Seems seems like more than 5 minutes, doesn't it? All right, in that category, this is called mea culpa. Those, you know, mea culpa. Okay. It's kind of like an open letter format. And I wish I didn't have to write this poem, just so you know. Anyway, here we go. Mea culpa. To the sons of the South, Nazis, KKK, and Mr. Toupee, I have to apologize for who I am, being what I am, that is to say, a man and white, and so being colored by the lights others see me by, thanks to you. But I would also offer my apologies for what's been done by those who claim to speak for me, appear in my image, blemish my face as they assert to know the nature of my kind. I assert, if they can speak for me, then I can certainly speak for them, and I will say what they apparently cannot. I apologize. For the lack of consideration and patience, the anger, pain, and error, the blindness, deafness, and dumbness, the disaffection of corrupted religiosity, the lack of fairness and justice, the horrific oppression of hope, the lack of food and clean water, the lack of care, the lack of freedom, the banks of abstract hate, the lack of fairness and justice, the horrific oppression of hope, the lack of freedom, the banks, the endless woes of warfare, all the murder, rape, and robbery, the death done and dying to others, the racism, genocides all through history, and those which continue on today even as I speak. My friends, and from my soul, I apologize for all that and more, even as I survey, though through a glass darkly, the vast, lifeless and dismal plains, suffering in the abyssal deeps of the repulsion I find at those who claim to speak for my kind, and so impact me with the error of their ways. Thank you. It's just something I have to do. And now, see, now that I've done that, this is called the antidotes, and there are 4 of them. Number 1, stones are not hearts. Never have been. Most probably won't take part in one for some long time. So patience is a virtue, they say. But with time scales like this, well, there's something to say for the virtue of persistence, or, in the case of rocks, the kind of patience that does not have a name yet. On their way to that chapter, they become and change, break, wear, and round, diminish, of course. They play roles, they nest, they shelter, are built into things by hands, things they cannot conceive of, even though they, just as all beings, are molded and reformed on their way over time to becoming. Praise is easy, simpler than you might expect, and very easy on the heart. The mind enjoys it. There is the morning, the sun, the shade of plants, water, food, smiles, and love, a gladness for that which you have. There is giving just as there are needs, yours, mine, and ours, which bring us together as friends. Sometimes there are walks on the seaside, a breath of refreshing sea wind off the bay, taking yours and mine away. One and 3 here. This is my favorite, just so you know. Okay. A single hand, ready, awaiting yours. In sunlight, the heart dances, enjoys the warmth of one with another's beating close by. Our real work, when all else fails, when we do not seem to have any clear choice or can't make sense of our direction, is to take that first step before the mind is encumbered, baffled by illusions which act to impede its stream of thought, for it would otherwise sing clearly and loudly enough, with the heart and soul, removing all doubt about about anything. Thank you.
Zane, you're up. Zane.
Thank you so much for that. And we have now Zane.
And then our teacher.
Okay, great. I'll say that 1,000 times. This is Zane, by the way.
Hi, I'm Zane.
He has a book, you know.
Yeah. I got a little book of poems. It's called Coping Mechanisms for Breathing. I got one. If you want to give me a couple bucks or a high five or tell me a dirty joke for it, that'd be cool.
Oh, I got this joke.
Is it about mud?
Okay.
Dirty joke. But yeah, thank you guys for being here and like sharing your like thoughts and feelings and stuff. It's important. Or just listening to other people's thoughts and feelings and stuff because that's important.
Oh. No, you're good. Oh, sorry.
I am gut of static. Flat tires, normality brimming, and silencing never happening here. I hear there's all types of noises that make up communication, drumming and smacking our lips against walls, leaving lipstick and vomit and different colored daisies. We're magnifying our feelings under high sun until they spark and sizzle, become less and more real, born into new body. Knees clutching ground, palms pressed in the right type of desperation. The sidewalk buries headlights so nicely, shovels made of sugar and cinders and good nights. She say moon is fluctuating stain, and I say stop making idols out of pink bodies, and then close my eyes again and again, making habit out of knowing where I will wake up. It's a beautiful contradiction to recognize my fingers miss a plastic piece of jewelry, hold the sudden electricity of moment to be fleeting because repercussions are all bruises and infections and broken pinkies and broken glasses and stress fractures, reminding light bulb of a body that it will have to be changed at some point. At least it makes sense. I'm hanging from the ceiling, making sense out of the floorboards, making sense from pieces of paper, pouring an understanding that could be better understood with whiteout. I leave a larger absence in the space I take up now. Take me somewhere sweet. I want to feel things. Leave me there, away at the bottom of brick steps under yellow lights and hushed footsteps. I think I can hear the lavender laughing so delicately. They know they'll be dried out too, or placed in glass mausoleums. Similar to dream post-mortem art show, rigor mortis, middle finger, still Aunt Linda's ashes in back pocket, plastic bag, and the rest in plastic box. It's less pretty to think further than 2 weeks in advance. So send me a letter about 3 weeks from now, ask me how I am doing, and remind me of all of the times I was doing, and sometimes it was enough, or right, or smiling, the right type of bloody in the middle school cameras we all have fucked up under the black blanket. Hush now. There are better places to be, I think, and forget the parking tickets. Thank you.
Oh, let me get back up there. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
I hope that you have enjoyed the presentation so far. Didn't we say at the beginning, I guess some people were on fire, like the cold ocean wind coming off the Pacific into the fireplace, beating on the coals, and the coals are pulsing white hot. Didn't I say that? Okay. So now we get to the core of things. Elizabeth Alford is our host, is our teacher for the evening. Sorry about that. If I don't make an error, then you don't know when I'm doing it right. So I tell my kids anyway. That's why they're so messed up. No. Sorry about that. First graders, you get really... Never mind. Anyway, in the letter she sent, or a note she sent, she talked about how she came into being interested in poetry, and this was not her original career idea choice thing, but it came to her, and she said, I love books! And she began writing, and she's been published, and she's a noteworthy voice. She has style. She was here the week before last, so we had a chance to get a little preview. I always tell the teachers, if you can do that, then people will come and do these things. So we're going to be entertained, educated, informed, advised. Our hearts will be moved, our minds will be changed, our souls will be touched.
I didn't know that.
Thank you. So, Elizabeth, come on up here and give us everything you have because we're waiting. We love it. So, just the microphone
Yeah.
All right, then we can tilt it around as you see fit.
Alright.
You are a professional.
Okay, thank you so much for coming out, everybody.
All right, give her a nice round here. Now she's warming up here. There we go.
So my name is Elizabeth Alford, better known as Liz to my friends. I don't have that many friends, so please call me Liz.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. Okay, so I'm going to start with one that is very near and dear to my heart. This was one of the first poems I had published, and it scored 3rd prize in my university contest the year I graduated. Yeah. All right. This is a parody. Excuse me, a parody. Well, actually, an imitation of Paul Laurence Dunbar's "We Wear the Mask." Kind of unnecessary to know the poem, but I got the rhythm. So here we go. We love the fat. We love the fat, those curves and rolls. It puffs our cheeks with donut holes. The song we sing to fast food kings with saucy mouths from chicken wings and never-ending pasta bowls. Why shouldn't the world be overweight, not counting carbs but empty plates? So let us have our bulging waists. We love the fact. We snack and, oh, Mickey D, your fries surpass all other fast food sides. We've sold our souls to Taco Bell. Beneath our clothes, our stomachs swell. But let us have our giant thighs. We love the fact. Thank you. On a similar subject, this one is called Little Tongues. That is a direct translation of, I believe it was, which pasta? Is that linguine? It's linguine. All right, so this is called Little Tongues. Regrets are best served on a bed of cold linguine. Regrets are red, saucy, spicy. Regrets are the ripe tomatoes we picked, each containing a vast richness and fullness of flavor when left to simmer for a few minutes, hours, days. You see, the years of disappointment are the recipe, and we remember regret every time we taste it. A spoonful here, the sprout of youth putting down roots, how leaves spring to unfold. A spoonful there, a pair of green lovers sunbathing, ripening, red, still growing. A spoonful in autumn, when we go to harvest what we've learned. And in winter, when we pull out our stored up regrets from the back of the freezer, thaw them out, heat them on the stove, stir them constantly, serve them up over cold linguine. Go on, eat up, we all say, regret dripping from our tongues, our lips, our drooping chins. It wrinkles our brows, stretches our clothes, stains our souls. But perhaps even regret has its place on our plates. It tickles our senses like a pollinated breeze, memory after memory rising like steam from the earth after a night of rain, or like a tomato vine tied to a stake. We all need that steak at first. We all need that taste. We all need the recipe for regret. So go on, eat up, and maybe someday try cooking it for yourself. Spice it up while you can. Thank you. Something a little more fun. A sonnet. Except it's more of an anti-sonnet. This is called Why I Hate Exercise. Disdain for sweat and heaving breath, for lungs that burn and pounding heart, for falling hopes and twisting unmarked roads. To carry one's unwieldy weight to heights unknown, the slopes of snow-capped stairs or jagged sidewalks seems absurd. What art indeed exists within a rapid movement still unmastered? Dreams of speed will slow and fade as dripping skin adheres to clothes. On trails, my well-worn shoes will slip on leaves. On streets, I trip on bits of stone. Or ankles brawl with roots and lose. The fall is sure. So too are scattered wits and flailing arms undignified. The sun is blinding like the pain I can't outrun. Thank you.
Well formed, guys. Well formed.
Oh, thank you. Let's see. So we have a bit of a food theme going. All right, here's another one. Heaven is my mother's apple pie. Coming up on Thanksgiving pretty soon, so I'm looking forward to that. Once a year, and only under the best possible circumstances, my mother makes her apple pie, and that first bite, oh, how buttery and crumbly the crust, how spicy the forbidden fruit filling, still warm from the oven, and swirls of cinnamon, sweet and tang waltzing to flavor on the ballroom floor of my tongue, is almost enough to make me sing praise to a God I don't believe in, even though I know, deep in my heart and in my stomach, that if there is an afterlife, it is after Thanksgiving dinner, and that my mother is a God of gods who can bake the whole of the universe into a pie. Alright, now we're going to get a little more serious. Right. This one is officially called Untitled. Just like this one. Bear with me. Untitled. The beginning of all things, or the end, since titles are difficult. Like the red-faced toddler in the supermarket screaming for sleep, or red-faced parents busying themselves with groceries, I too seek rest. I too seek respite from the shrieks of untitled, no title, or unfinished. So many papers scattered on the floor, poems kicking like a child on the market tiles or in the mellow warmth of a womb. I watch new mothers with envy, swollen-bellied poets with perfect beginnings. Someday a baby will turn inside me. Someday some wonderful thing will come to me, and my untitled family will be complete. I turn on my stomach. I must sleep now, and hope one comes soon.
Let me just take, let's see, what, you got about like 15.
Sweet. I got plenty more.
Close to that.
All right. Another more serious one. This is one I have not actually read at a performance before, so this I believe would be a debut.
A debut then.
Yes.
A round for the debut. We have formal procedure.
This is about my dad. This is called His Final Legacy. Daddy, why do you cough so much? I wanted to ask, but never did. He would cough the way I cough, the way a person who smokes coughs. The gasp of breath before submerging into a pool, the rapid-fire hacks, guttural, grating brothers to the death rattle. Pause, repeat, the inevitable spit. He didn't know I saw the tissues, dry, brown, crumpled fluff stuck to themselves like plastic wrap, strewn like rumpled clothes throughout the living room, trash bags and tables overflowing with reminders of his presence, even when he wasn't home. Even after he died, I didn't know that I would one day have my own pile of tissues, stacked haphazardly like fallen dominoes, that my coughing echoes would resound throughout the house like an unpleasant song on the radio, or that his final legacy, the very last thing he passed to me, would be a pinch of tobacco. Thank you. Getting a little heavy up in here, so I'm going to try to find something funny. Let's see what we got. Funny. Okay, here we go. This one is called Crush on a Poet. I wrote this, well, after encountering a really good poet. Anyway. Crush on a poet. I have a crush on a poet. The poet knows it. Not about the crush, no. Knows it. The kind with italics, all capital letters, or rarely a pair of asterisks. This poet knows how to fold words over like origami paper, how to metamorphose memories into a crane before me, how to unfold cranes into a story. Knows how to bring the streets of life together like intersections, signpost sentences guiding the way, bridging one stanzaic highway to another and another. Like an illusionist on the stage, here one moment, gone the next, he keeps me entranced with his sleights of hand and turns of phrase. And however much I may keep my eyes on the ball, the magic of it remains a mystery. I have a crush on a poet, and the poet knows it. In a similar vein, one second. I have to find it now. I have no internet. Oh, that's
Really?
maybe I have. No, I don't have the Wi-Fi. Oh, well.
Is it not on, or do you not know?
No, it's just, it's not working, but that's okay.
All right.
That's okay.
Because I could talk to Teddy and find whatever it's supposed to do.
That would be handy, actually. That would be handy. I can
Go for it. Can you ask Teddy?
I've got, let's see, here we go.
I don't know what to ask. Thank you.
This is the one. This is a poem, a villanelle, actually, I wrote for my poetry teacher after graduation. I got my BA over at Cal State Hayward, actually, and I graduated in 2014. So I wrote this actually a few days afterwards. This is a villanelle after Elizabeth Bishop's One Art. This is called Another Art, and. There's an art to expressing gratitude while remaining modest and humble. I don't know how to say thank you. I draw upon words and hope they'll do. Inevitably, they come out in a jumble. There's an art to expressing gratitude. I lack articulate eloquence. It's true. I tried my best before and fumbled. I don't know how to say thank you. I try to give credit where credit is due. I sculpt speeches and watch them crumble. There's an art to expressing gratitude. I must practice. Thank you for your views, your faith, for every single time I stumbled. I couldn't have done it without you. Even now, the proper words still elude me, so I'd rather write than mumble. There's an art to expressing gratitude, and I don't know how else to say thank you.
Okay.
good, that's perfect.
All right. See if it works. And it might. I think it's one word, but if it's not,
It is one word. It's one
Okay.
word.
Thank you.
Well,
I'm just getting in here quickly.
Details.
That's very good.
Settings. Apologize for the,
A few things I can still do well.
which, a sacred grounds, here we go.
Yeah, there we go. So tell us about your life while you're doing this. So what's a salient thing you would say to us as an advisement in life?
In life?
Yes.
Oh, jeez. Salient thing in life.
It's a trick question, ladies and gentlemen.
It is, and I really wish I had an answer. I don't have one.
That's an excellent answer.
Okay.
Yeah,
Let's go
actually,
with that.
metaphysical over here, Mr.
He's throwing loaded stuff at you.
Well, she's getting herself organized. I don't want her
good.
to.
I got it working now.
She's
All
good.
right.
She's good.
And I promise this one's worth the wait.
Oh boy.
This is called A Private Message I Never Sent on OkCupid.
Look out.
Wait a minute. The title is that's good. That should be a thing by itself.
Tell me the truth. I can take it. Are you circumcised? Forgive me. I know that's an awfully personal question from practically a stranger, especially on a dating site, and certainly not one should ask before meeting. And I'll admit, it's awfully presumptuous of me to assume we're even going to get that far, since we've only been messaging for like 2 days. But I need to know now whether I'm going to be disappointed, lying in bed, frustrated, even as you thrust furiously above me, with all the desperation I've come to expect from a man who hasn't had a woman in a long time. There I go, being presumptuous again. My apologies. I haven't gotten laid myself lately, and I'm nearing 30, so my sex drive is driving me crazy. Sometimes I just want to screw a bedpost. Just say fuck it and screw a bedpost. Feel it long and hard and thick deep inside me. But other times I think that for some people, filling one hole is just a substitute for filling the other hole we all carry deep in our hearts. I'd rather make love to a mountain, a really big mountain, somewhere in the Alps or the Rockies, or maybe somewhere not quite so cold, since lately I feel more like a volcano. Hormones bubbling, boiling, pressure building up below the surface, building until I explode at or on anyone in the near vicinity. Not getting laid makes me irritable. And getting laid, well, we all know sex is messy business. So this is important. Are you circumcised? I won't tell you my preference. Don't want to spoil the mystery, right? Hope to hear from you soon.
If you never send it, it might be fun to send it. See what happens.
I did end up showing him, actually.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Anyway. All right, so here's, let's see. Oh, similar vein here.
Showing him the bedpost?
Clarification is necessary.
Yes, the bedpost. This one is called Bakery at the Corner of Sweet Street and Regret. This was published in the Silver Birch Press My Sweet Words series in fall of 2015. This was inspired on a date, by a date that I went on with a girl, actually. We were on the edge of winter, balancing our friendship like a plate on the edge of the counter. I was the counter. But I could taste happiness from the street. The warm, smile-inducing cinnamon and eau de vanilla seduced not only my nose, but those of endless passers-by. And the moment I stepped inside, I knew I was in heaven. A celebration of cakes and cookies greeted me like an old friend. Every baked surface was draped with ribbons of icing. Even the walls were inviting. My bulging eyes fell upon one close-up of dripping red velvet atop a bed of chocolate chips beckoning like a lover. Fancily framed, majestically hued, deserving of the Louvre if it had a kitchen. I told her this joke. She was insulted. The bakery was German-based. That was the beginning of the end. Across the street, a homely-looking van housed a homely-looking hippie named Hippie Dan. I met him. Sweet guy, I thought. Bright red beneath the brown, like a cherry cordial. I gave him most of my sticky bun. I didn't think to give him a toothbrush. This one is called Wisps of October, inspired by real events. The night we made s'mores at the dining room table, toasting marshmallows on the ends of pretzel sticks over unscented tea candles, watching bubbling balls of fire gradually transform into charred, crispy, gooey ghosts of their former selves, which we ate smooshed between graham crackers and half each of a Hershey's chocolate bar, was the last night I thought, with absolute certainty, that our love would never melt down, reach the end of its wick, and burn out completely. Thank you.
We'll give it down for it, ladies and gentlemen. Our teacher of the evening, give it up.
Wow. You came to the right place.
So my original idea about the wind whipping off the ocean and ice coldness into the fires and the coals pulsing with those colors, didn't I tell you? We enjoyed. We have a second half coming up. I call it the second show now because it is like that. We're going to take a break for 5 or 7 minutes. We'll be right back. Who's up? Who's the first up?
We have Alan, Melissa, Mark, Brittany, Antonelle, Clyde, always, Garrett Murphy, and Gaia.
Wow, so we got, have I got a lineup for you? And if you haven't signed up, you can still do that, and I won't talk like that anymore, I promise, except when I forget, which I do all the time, so that's not my problem. It's my psychologist's problem. I tell him you must fix it.
Coming up?
Huh?
What's coming up? Are you gonna?
Oh yeah, with let me see the thing. I think it's on the other side for the next week.
Yeah, that's what you're saying?
Yeah, I know I'm coming up. That's why I feel you.
Okay, so next week we have I think it's Keith Ekis. He's going to be new to us. And they didn't write the other ones down. When are you coming up?
We're coming up the following week. Me and
the 27th.
Yes, me and Mr. Sanderell.
Yes, Mr. Sanderell and he are going to be back on the 27th. Keith Ekis is going to be here on the 20th. We're here now. Be here now. Think about who you are and wonder why. And we will stop, and I will stop talking because if I don't do that, I'll just do this for minutes. And people go, what are you having?
All right, so have a break. We will take care of business, and we shall see you in a few minutes. Oh, sorry. Here you go.
So now you want to stop this?
Yeah. So hit that.